Welcome to the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Friday, May 10th. This is Gina Palma. Over the last 2 weeks, we've seen precipitation mainly targeted over the southern and eastern half of the Great Basin, and this has been above normal for the time of year as indicated in the image on the right. Further west and north, we've had much more spotty precipitation with thunderstorm activity, so this precipitation has been well below normal. Looking at the snowfall over the last 72 hours, the image on the left, we have had some new higher elevation snowfall over the higher terrain of Utah up into western Wyoming, and this new snowfall has been 6 to 12 inches in some areas. Then we had some higher elevation snow up into the central Sierra. Our snowpack is shown on the right, which is above normal still for the time of year, especially across the Sierra and across Nevada and Utah, and closer to normal or slightly above normal over parts of western Wyoming back into Idaho. Looking at our water vapor satellite loop, with our 500 millibar height superimposed on top, shows this area of low pressure now over central California, which will continue sliding south and east over the next couple of days. This has brought some thunderstorm activity to the Great Basin and some much needed rainfall to southern areas of the Great Basin, some areas over southern Nevada and parts of the Arizona Strip into southern Utah, so over a half or over an inch of precipitation over the last 24 hours. We've also again had a fair amount of lightning activity over the southern half of the Great Basin associated with this area of low pressure. Now looking at the weather pattern for later today, again that area of low pressure will slide further south today, keeping showers and thunderstorms along with cloud cover over the southern half of the Great Basin. We do have an area of low pressure that's dropping south into the northern plains, which may clip parts of Idaho, bringing some cloud cover and very light shower activity. Looking at our ventilation index, we'll have fairly good dispersion over the northern half of Nevada with these gusty easterly winds. However, dispersion will be on the poor side over southern areas closer to that area of low pressure. The transport winds show that image well on the left, showing those gusty easterly winds into the northern half of Nevada and the Sierra, with much lighter northeasterly wind flow over the eastern half of the Great Basin, and good mixing heights region-wide. On Saturday, this area of low pressure drops south into the northern part of the Baja Peninsula. This will take much of the heavier precip further south into southern California and Arizona, but still keeping showers and thunderstorms over southern Nevada, the Arizona Strip, and southern Utah, with drier and warmer conditions further north. Dispersion will remain more on the poor side in the southern areas of the Great Basin close to that low pressure and good in other areas. Transport winds will still be breezy north to northeast winds over much of Utah and up into western Wyoming, and winds will start decreasing but still keep that easterly component out across Nevada. Again, good mixing heights are expected mostly region-wide. By Sunday, that area of low pressure tracks further east into southern Arizona, so we still may keep some showers and thunderstorms over parts of southern Utah and the Arizona Strip, but we should see drier conditions over much of Nevada and Idaho. Good dispersion in most areas, but decreasing winds over northern Nevada up into northern Utah will allow dispersion to become slightly more on the poor side. On Sunday, again, you can see these decrease in winds over the northern half of the basin, and still these gusty northeast winds over Utah, the Arizona Strip, and southern Nevada, which will again keep dispersion a little bit higher. Mixing heights will be relatively good with the exception of parts of Idaho into Wyoming, where we will see some lower mixing heights. Looking at the forecast clearing index for Utah, where we will see these gusty winds today, we'll have higher clearing indices over the western half of the state, a little bit lower as you get closer into the Uintas and the northern part of the Wasatch. On Saturday, we will start to see the clearing indices increase region-wide and then remain elevated on Sunday over the southern areas of Utah, but decrease more significantly up in the north. Looking at the precipitation over the next 3 days, which takes us through Monday morning, much of this precipitation will occur today and into tomorrow over the southern areas of the Great Basin, but you can see many areas will be receiving over a half inch of precipitation total over southern Nevada, the Arizona Strip, and the southern half of Utah, along with the Sierra, with dry conditions continuing further north. As we go into early next week, we will see that area of low pressure now track east into Texas, drying out much of the Great Basin, but we do have another area of low pressure that will bring moisture up into the Pacific Northwest, which will start bringing cloud cover into Idaho by Monday, again with drier conditions now on the southern half of the basin. We will see generally poor dispersion in many areas under much lighter wind flow, with the exception of Idaho, which will see an increase in winds, so we'll have better dispersion up north on Monday. On Tuesday, this area of low pressure swings further towards the coast, again keeping cloud cover, maybe some light showers up in the far north, but drier conditions elsewhere across the basin, again with poor dispersion. As we move into Wednesday, we will start to see the winds start to increase over much of the western and northern half of the Great Basin, also bringing some cloud cover over much of Nevada into Idaho with maybe some light showers or thunderstorms. And dispersion again will be on the increase as these winds increase as the area of low pressure moves in. By Thursday, we'll have a much better chance of area-wide showers and thunderstorms as the low pressure tracks across the area, along with some cooler temperatures and good dispersion. Looking at the forecast amounts of precipitation, which only takes us through Wednesday morning, precipitation with any thunderstorm activity will be fairly spotty across the Great Basin, but a much better chance later on Wednesday and into Thursday for better amounts of precipitation across the Great Basin. Looking at the 8 to 14 day outlook, taking us into the second and third week of May, showing now below normal temperatures as troughs of low pressure continue to swing through the Great Basin, along with above normal precipitation. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back on Monday for the latest updates.